So you want to know how to get promoted this year. I'm going to share with you how you can move up in your company. And for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Andres Perez and this is Be a Man, where I teach you everything you should know not only to be a competent man, but a confident man. If improving yourself is something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe so you can be informed of new videos. Now, in the previous video, top 9 interview tips to stand out, I shared with you that I wanted to move my own company. Well, I'm happy to say that it's happened. About 3 weeks ago, I was promoted. I'm going to share with you that story, and at the end I'll recap again the advice. In the comments below, put any questions you might have. And guys, help each other out because developing people is part of your own development. Last year, I was ready to move up. I knew I had the talent, I knew I had the drive, and I knew I had the intelligence. Anything I didn't know, I could figure out. However, I never held a management position, so I lacked the experience. Knowing this, I approached my new boss, and I let her know that I wanted to move up in the company. See, to get somewhere you've never been before, the best way is to ask directions from someone who's already been there. So that's exactly the philosophy I went with. So I approached her, I told her, and she said, you know what? I typically take 1 or 2 people under my wing. I'll take you under mine, but you need to know it's not going to be easy and I'm going to be pushing you. Okay, I expected nothing less. So a few days after our talk, she tells me, as soon as you're done with that call, go ahead and give Sarah a coaching. No warning, just get in there. Okay, all right. So I sat with Sarah and we did our thing, and afterwards my boss pulled me over and said, okay, how was it? I said, well, I didn't get a warning, so no time to prepare. A little nervous at first, but I think you went really well. I said, good, good. She said, well, I did that on purpose. I purposely gave you no warning because I wanted to gauge where you were at. I want to see what weaknesses you have and what strengths do you have. So tell me about it. What happened? Okay. So I sat with Sarah, and Sarah said, I don't really like people sitting next to me. So is it possible to do half of this at my desk, half of this at yours? To which I responded, well, I'll tell you what. You don't like people sitting next to you, right? You don't like to be watched? Okay. I'm going to sit behind you. We'll start there, take the call, we'll talk about it, and we'll see where that goes. I said, okay. So I sat behind her, she took her call, she flipped her status, and we talked about it. I asked her, so how'd you feel about it? According to our grading model, how do you think you did? She went through the points. I think I did well on this. This could have been a little better. This I've always struggled with. I said, okay. So overall, my scores, I said, you know what? I agree. I agree 100%. It's exactly what I would have scored it. So one of the easy points that you're missing is personalizing the call. It could be as easy as calling the customer by their name. You could do more, of course, but if you do that, it's going to make a big difference. By the end of the 30 minutes, Sarah said, you know what, I really don't like people sitting with me, but I didn't mind this. And, I really appreciate you letting me ask questions and answering them for me. This was pretty good. I said, well, you know what? I appreciate that. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to sit with you. So, that's what happened during the call. My boss said, okay, pretty good. So where was Sarah's stats at? What was her scorecard? And by that, we're talking about the month. I didn't ask, but I can find out real quick if you like. Say no. Just next time, write it down. Okay. And she said, also, I did purposely choose somebody who was strong-minded and vocal to test you out. Um, you can't talk to everybody the same. You know, the way you talk to her, you can't talk to Fred the same. Um, Everybody's different, and you got to approach them differently. I said, I get that. Just speaking with the customers myself, I get that. It keeps from escalating the call when you can match the personality. So I'm completely with you on that. She's like, good, okay. So here's the things I learned from that. One, you want to keep a record. You need to be able to show where they started from to where you are today. So you can say in your interview, yes, I've done coaching with so and so. One particularly I'd like to point out to you is Sarah. She started here, but now she's over here. You can see there's quite a big difference of development that's gone on since then. And these are the techniques that I implemented, yada yada. So that way now you have proof that you can develop people. And that's important for management. And the other thing I want to point out is, since you're trying to move up in the company, you're going to be dealing with people, different kinds of people. So it is your job to be able to change your personality, to flex it. You don't have to change it per se, but you do got to be able to flex it. You can't talk to everybody the same. Some people are more sensitive than others. Some you can be blunt, just here's the fact. All right. Others you gotta sugarcoat it a little bit, or sometimes they have to discover it for themselves. So you have to be able to lead them to the answer. If you want to be effective, you need to have that skill under your belt. After that initial coaching, my boss said, okay, so I want you to do a coaching with everybody and just set the time up. Okay. So I started doing that. Every day we have a real-time doc, which is whenever it gets slower, they open up slots so we can pull people off. So every day I would ask my team lead, is it open? Is there any spaces? I want to get so-and-so off. And, we would work that way. After a week of this, on our next coaching, with my boss, I said, I've been doing as you asked. I've been doing the coachings. I've been setting them up. But it's not guaranteed every day. Some days are busier than others, so they don't always open the real-time doc. Is there another way? Is there a way that I can schedule it ahead of time? That way I know I have it. And she said, yeah, there's a way. And I didn't tell you purposely either. I can schedule it for you. You just tell me who you want. And it will have to be 2 weeks in advance, though. We can start doing that. Okay. So what I learned from that experience was that as a leader, you will be given tasks. But you won't always be given directions or even the tools that you need. So you need to be aware of what it is that you need and to make sure you get them yourself. So fast forwarding, I had my interview for the team lead and training program. Now, things had changed since then. There was a group of senior specialists who recently lost their position. Now, it wasn't their choice. They just did away with the program. And they were all ready to move up. So I had them to compete against, plus the other team champions. So by then, though, I had been working my butt off. I had different projects. I've been working on different skills. You name it, I've been doing it. So I went in there, I did my interview, and I didn't get a spot. Okay. Well, I got my feedback. And my biggest thing was that I am a modest person. Nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't help you in an interview. So part of the mistake I did was, assuming that they knew some of the things that I've been doing already. And that kicked my butt. Plus, I had a little trouble remembering. So, okay. My boss got with me and said, all right, this is what we're going to do. Okay. you can still interview for the actual team lead position. So from here until then, I want you to start taking record of everything you're doing. We're going to call it your brag book. So every project you do, you put it in there. Every time you do a coaching, you put it in there. You got to have everything ready. Okay, so I did that. I started, doing the little projects I did, the team huddles that I led, this and that. Awesome. All right. So then that interview came about, and I did a lot better than I did the first one. Now, there was one thing though. I had no warning for this interview. I applied for it, of course, but I didn't find out to the day of. So I didn't get that practice that I did the first time to go over questions and things like that. I was one of the last ones to interview. They couldn't move it anymore at that point. Well, all right, let's go. So I went. And I did well. There were still some very strong candidates that I was going up against, and I knew it. I gave it all I had. This time around, that's the second interview that I didn't get the position. I got my feedback, and they said that I did very well. They definitely recommended me for the team lead and training program to definitely apply on that the next time around. And they want to see more of me. So also the other feedback was that I need to be more visible. They want to know more about what I'm doing. Okay. So then this is what I took from that interview. The biggest thing was that I needed to be visible. So, you know what? I got to working. I've been working on my interviewing skills. I've been working on every other kind of skills. Now I got to be visible. I got to make sure everybody and anybody knows about me. That's what I did. I started volunteering for different projects. I started volunteering for just like fun activities. For example, during the recognition parties for the top performers, people would do lip syncing. I volunteered for those. So I was in quite a few of them. They were seeing me there. I was walking the floor, helping other people on different floors. Next time around, there's no way they're going to turn me down. And that's my tip to you. You cannot be invisible in your company. If you're trying to move up, they need to hear about you. They need to know who you are before you even get in that door. Typically, that team lead and training program comes around the same time of the year. So I knew it was going to be a few months before I even got another chance. But I got to working anyways. Now, as I was doing my thing, I noticed that a position opened up in a different department. Okay. We actually were going to merge with that department, so I said, why not? I went in there, I interviewed. I did fantastic, by the way. So I'm patiently waiting and get my feedback. They sit me down and said, you know what? You are awesome. You're very professional. You're very confident. We definitely want to see more of you. Now, we didn't choose you. We chose somebody from our department because they have more knowledge on this side. But my advice is to actually start doing some side-by-sides with people in our department so you can start learning it. They didn't say it, but I knew what they were saying. So I started to work on that because I knew the position was going to be opening up on their end. Like I said, they didn't say it, but I knew what they were saying. Had no idea how long though. A couple weeks later, I come in like every other day, say hi to everybody, start signing into my computer. And my boss says, well, we have a meeting later today with one of the assistant managers from the other department, and they want to give you some feedback on your interview. Beep, got a call, right? so I couldn't continue the conversation. But I started thinking, that's okay. Well, I already got my feedback, so it can't really be that. Um, Probably another interview. Okay. So before the meeting, I got off the phones and she's like, "You ready to go?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Do I need to take my brag book?" Just trying to confirm that's what it is, right? She's like, "No." Oh, okay. She's like, "Just bring something to write with if you like." But come on. Okay. So I was kind of confused, right? And so we get in there. He's waiting for us, and we sit down, shake hands, all that. He says, "I've been talking to all the managers, assistant managers, and everybody in your department, and I've heard nothing but good things about you. You know, I hear that you've been working very hard. Everything they've ever asked you to do, you've done it. And there's been a position that opened up in my department, and I want to offer it to you." I was kind of taken back. You know, I've been working really hard for this, but never did I expect it to just be given to me, just offered to me like that without having to interview for it or anything like that. But I was like, well, I would love to accept it. you know, um, wow, it was crazy. Well, that's pretty much my story. To recap, you want to know your strengths and weaknesses. Start promoting your strengths for different projects. Start volunteering for anything that they're giving out. You want to be able to shine. Um, so know yourself and make yourself visible. Those are two things there, guys. If the first time that they're interviewing is the first time they're hearing or seeing you, your chances are not very good. You want them to know who you are before you even step in that door. So definitely make sure that you're visible in the company. You don't want to lose your position to somebody else just because of something small that you could have worked on. Make sure you're working on those weaknesses. And if you're not sure what your weaknesses are or how to improve them, get a mentor. Somebody who's already been there, somebody who knows how to get there. Don't think that you have to do it all by yourself. Start doing the brag book. Start writing everything down. Keep a record of what it is that you've been doing. You want to know where you started, sure, but you want to be able to tell them, okay, so I worked on this project, I've done this and that. When I coach, when I develop my people, they improve. As you can see, the next thing is start practicing for your interview. You want to be able to have good answers. As you heard from my story, interviews can happen at any moment. And that brings me to my last point. Always be improving. You don't want to be able to say that the guy you were 3 months ago is the same guy you are now, because that's unacceptable. If you're trying to move up in your company, you need to be showing that you're trying, that you're improving. You want them to be excited to be wondering, okay, if that's who you are now, who are you going to be in the next 3 months? So make sure that you don't get comfortable. Keep challenging yourself. The next thing I want from you guys is to go into the comments below and share with me your success stories. If this video helped you out, I definitely want to hear them. I want to know how it is that you got yourself prepared, those kind of things. But remember, every day is a new day, and this is a new year. So if you want it, go get it.